Good evening and welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. I'm your host, Kim B. Davis, and this evening we have another one of our favorite guests, Ms. Shanay Watson-Whittaker. She is our political strategist and organizer, and tonight we are talking about everything political about hair. Good evening, Shanay. How are you?
Hey Kim, happy Tuesday. I'm here in Las Vegas, Michigan. Yes, and we are going to talk about hair today.
Thank you for
Las
tuning
Vegas,
in.
Michigan. You know I'm tired. Las Vegas,
I
Nevada. Okay, that's only 3 hours sleep, y'all. When you go from one time zone to the other, I had to catch that. So,
wait. And I was about to catch it for you. So you're okay. You are okay. So, yes, you are in Las Vegas, Nevada, working hard, playing hard. So,
yeah.
thank you for being with us. This is an important topic. And first, I want to start off by saying congratulations to our newest Supreme Court Justice, the Honorable Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yeah.
We are so happy that she has been nominated and accepted and approved and all those wonderful things. But I want to tell you what I was really excited about. She had sister locks.
Yes, she sure did. Yes.
Yes, sister locks. And I said,
Yes.
now this isn't taking away anything from her stellar education, to her flawless way that she handled herself with class and grace and all of those things.
Yeah.
But I thought, wow, she has natural hair. She's not the stereotype, and I hate to use that word, but I'll use myself as an example. So Shanay, you have your hair down. I have my hair down as well.
Mhm.
And growing up in my family, I don't know if it was like that in your family, but if you had long hair, there was an expectation that your hair was going to be straight in my family, because that's what you had to do to get a job, to
Mhm.
be accepted. You
Yes.
know, this natural hair that we're doing now, where we're embracing our natural textures and our curls, I think it's a wonderful thing. And I've done it and I'm like, oh, this is fun. You just
Yeah.
got to figure out what works for you.
Yes, you do. Yes, you
However,
do.
going in a workplace, ooh, a lot of people get nervous when they see too much hair.
Mhm.
Back in the 70s, the afro was considered, a black power symbol. And so
Yes.
now when people see it, they're like, okay, wait, are you one of those people? Are you a radical? And all of that. But before we get to that, I want to start us off with the topic that's been trending for the last couple of weeks. On the Oscar stage, Chris Rock made a joke about Jada's hair. And I didn't know that she had alopecia. I had not heard that. I just found that out that she had alopecia when the whole slap happened. And I don't really want to talk about the slap. I want to talk about the joke. Why is it that we like to joke about Black women and hair? And why is it political, Shanay?
I think that goes back to slavery. You at one point when enslaved African women were here, they weren't allowed to wear their hair out. They had to keep it covered in a chignon.
Mm-hmm.
So they wouldn't appear as feminine as white women who were obviously mistresses of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it started. And then also, we throughout the history, we were black women were chastised and because you had a certain hair texture or a hair type, as they say now, or you didn't wear it straight, or it wasn't straight enough. And it's been, it's a joke as old as this country. We're different. We're still other because of the way we look, our natural hair, and how our nose and our lips as well, and even our bottoms. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's misogyny. It's not brand new. It's $1 billion business, and people like to punch down at black women because they know that on the social hierarchy, we're not high at all. We have two things against us. One, we're black, and the other, we're women.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're more marginalized, you might be LGBTQIA as well. And it's easy. I mean, it's easy to make fun of people who can't rise up and say no, who haven't historically haven't done that. Now, black women have taken the lead and gone into a more proactive stance with the Crown Act, as we talked about earlier in another interview.
Mm-hmm.
And now that we see people like Judge Justice
Yes.
Brown Jackson, and I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna get used to that, Justice Brown Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
with her sister locks, her beautiful sister locks, and her daughter with her natural hair as well. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's also changed the game. And we shouldn't be judged by how we wear our hair. God made us this way. And if you believe in the creator, some of us don't, but we were born this way. And well, I'll
Mm-hmm.
quote Gaga because Gaga's actually going to be here uh, in 2 days. So
Yay.
yes. So, you know, it's been like I said, 400 years of down punching down, and it's enough. And people are just tired of it. We are all collectively tired of the jokes. We're tired of being demeaned, and we're tired of being like the butt of a white supremacist hierarchy because people want to feel better than the next person. We are all the same under, you know, God's creation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to go back to something that you said because I thought that was very important. You talked about the Tinyan uh, codes, and those were in the 1800s where Black women, specifically those that were mixed, were instructed to wear feathers and scarves in their hair. And you're correct. Most likely they probably were mistresses or some other situation in the community where you didn't want to attract the attention of white men. And it was all at the comfort for white women because white women felt jealous, insecure, all of those things. Fast forward to 2022, we have the Crown Act. And the Crown Act allows that any particular hairstyle that you wear, it can not be a cause for you to be fired or not to be hired. As in the case, there have been several cases for those that don't know, people that wear locks, which is why I was so excited to see Justice Jackson with locks. Many people who have locks have been told you have to either cut your hair or change it because you can't be hired. And for those that are saying, but it's just hair, that's just the problem. Because when you look at the fact that we're different, not because we're different, because we're a different type of a human being, it's simply exterior characteristics. People still make judgments based on you. There on social media now is something called natural and luxe, where people are talking about luxury with natural hairstyles, things that were never considered the same. So when we talk about Hollywood glamour, now we're talking about natural hair. Lupita Nyong'o, who's a brilliant Hollywood actress, has shown this. I cannot think of her name. I always want to call her Michonne, and that is not her name from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
She has shown natural hair. Jada Pinkett Smith with her natural bald head or closely shaved head due to alopecia, her look was flawless. And I think it's important that we let people know it is okay to be you. But what I was angry about were people who were saying alopecia is not a disability, just put on a wig. What would you say to someone who said that?
Well, I think that those people are insensitive. They don't understand the cultural dynamics of hair in the Black community.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
there's the disconnect there as well. That for us, our hair is our everything. It's our crown and glory, and we've
Yes.
heard it from a first time we sat between our mama's legs and she was
Mm-hmm.
braiding our hair, to us having our hair pressed and combed for Easter, for picture day, for
Mm-hmm.
special occasions, to
Mm-hmm.
us, some of us getting our first relaxer. And,
Mm-hmm.
and and that's what we heard, that our hair is
Mm-hmm.
attached to our femininity, who we are as women in society. And again, you talk about the job market, and our hair has become a political issue in how we wear it, and what it meant in the workplace. So, it's been something, again, that's gone on for centuries. And I think people who are outside of our culture, our collective community don't understand that. They don't care to understand it. All they know is hair is just hair. But they, again, you know, that the oppression that Black folks have felt, specifically Black women, about our hair,
Mhm.
it's something that again the majority community, they don't get, and they don't understand because they don't feel that pressure every day that we do about how we wear our hair, how our hair looks, length of hair, and again texture of hair too.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I wish people would take the time to learn more about that. I think, as we already know, Black people know more about white people than white people know about themselves.
Yes. Yes.
Because we had to learn how to navigate through society, and how to deal with microaggressions and even outright discrimination based on how we look every day.
hmm hmm You bring up some really great points. And I thought about crowning glory because I remember from being a little girl, very small, like you said, where we in the Black community, there's a tradition between grandmothers, mothers, and their daughters. You
Hmm.
sit on a stool or a chair or on the floor. Most likely you're sitting on the floor, and your mother or your grandmother is sitting on a chair above you, and they are oiling your scalp. Yes, that is a thing where someone actually physically gets a jar of grease, oil,
Yes.
something, and puts it on your scalp. And let me tell y'all, there is nothing better than that feeling of somebody rubbing some oil on your scalp when you were a little kid and you're like, oh, grandma, that feels so good. And
And with the
then
comb too.
yes, and then they brush your hair or comb your hair. And
Yeah.
so I always heard, this is your crown and glory. You don't cut your hair. And I thought,
For nothing.
but
Yes.
when you're little and you have long hair down to your butt, you're like, this is heavy. Why can't
Hmm.
I cut it? And I remember the first time I cut my hair, and I only cut about 4 inches off. I had my hair was literally to my butt, and I was just like, it's too heavy. I need some of this chopped off. Oh, it was a hellfire in my opinion.
Yes, I went through that too. Hmm.
And so and so I remember my mother was like, why did you do that? What's wrong with you? That's your crowning glory. And I thought, am I gonna burn up?
And they
Am
were
I?
like, "I grew your hair."
Yes, yes. It was like, I grew your hair. And I was just
Uh-huh.
like, and then I went to my grandmother, what did you do to your hair? And I'm like, it's still the same. It's just not as long. So when we talk about the obsession and this belief system around hair, yes,
Hmm.
length is important. If you are a Black girl and you have long hair, you better hold on to it, because everybody will tell you everybody can't grow hair like that. And
That's
I understand why people say that, but it brings up so many different things.
And it's a
Heck,
multi-billion-dollar industry as well. Black hair care is a multi-billion-dollar
yes, it
industry.
is.
Yes.
And so we're going to that, Shanay. And so I want to talk about how on in social media and the beauty industry has taken this and monetized it. And we make millions and millions and millions of dollars. I hate uttering this person's name, but Kim Kardashian did something several years ago where she called it um she got her hair flat ironed, and I think she called it the mirror effect or something. And I'm like, Black girl's been doing that for years. What are you talking about? And she tried to make it seem like she had created it. And then there, of course, was Bo Derek back in the late 70s, early
Yeah.
80s, who was rocking cornrows. And all white women were like, oh my goodness, that's great. And Black women were like, hello, that's
Yeah.
we literally invented that. What are we doing? So talk to me, Shanay, about why it's so easy for other cultures to adopt Black features yet hate Blackness.
You know what the old saying is? They love our rhythm but hate our blues. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
No, because we're a minority culture, not minority in the United States, it's easy to pluck from that and to say something, since you're the majority, to say that you invented it. I mean, it's as old as the inventions, the filament, you know, you know, any other black inventions that have happened in this country. So, and there are folks that will take credit for those things. I think, you mentioned Miss Kardashian. She knows who her audience is, and she knows
Mhm.
out what outrage for her brings her more clicks and likes anyway, and then she'll have her defenders as well. All she did was a rap and set, a long
Mm-hmm.
set and a rap. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
With
Mm-hmm.
Saran wrap, and we've been doing that forever. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so and she knew. I
Mm-hmm.
don't. I'm Bo Derek. That was in the '70s. So she
Yes.
did something that she knew. These folks know. They know that if they can take it to a broader audience and they can say they created it, that it would be more socially acceptable. Especially with our hair being braided. I mean, and cornrows. And bantu knots, or
Yes.
or what in Jamaica they call them chinny bumps.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see
Mm-hmm.
black girls wear them, it's weird for people, but when you see people who are not black wearing them, it's so edgy. It's so cool. Or you see folks in tan to the
Yes.
oblivion. It's edgy and cool. But yet you look at their hands, it's the color of alabaster. you know so and that's what we deal with, and I'm glad, to be honest with you. One of the best things that have happened is social media, that there are people who are saying, no, you cannot do that, or no, you didn't create this, and no, we are gatekeeping parts of our culture. We get that you appreciate it and you love it and everything, but that's something that came from our joy. It came from our ancestors. It's something that's been passed along to us for hundreds of years before you knew that Africa existed. Western Africa,
Yes.
specifically for Black Americans and folks in the Caribbean, and in South America as well. It's great that they honor that, but at the same time, there are lines that people shouldn't cross, and stealing hairstyles and calling it something that you invented. That's just beyond. It's audacious. But folks are going to do that. Then again, like our love our rhythm but hate our blues. So at the end of the day, we are the creators. We are the influencers. We're the ones who push trends. Black women are, and black men are as well. We push the
Mm-hmm.
trends to make this country move. If it wasn't for Black Americans, and black people in general, this we'd all be idle.
Right. That.
Instead, you got cities like Detroit, you got cities like New York, Atlanta, LA, Chicago, New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
Jackson, Miami, all that. All those cities, they pop, they create culture, they create influence, they create language and slang. We all have
Mm-hmm.
our little, our slang and how we talk and how we move, and we gave this country swag. That's it.
Yes, yes, we did. Yes, we did. We gave this country swag.
And it
Gave
came,
this,
and it came from pain, our pain too,
yes,
our
yes,
collective pain.
yes, absolutely. This country was built on our backs. We not only built the foundation and the infrastructure for this country, we have created inventions that still power this nation to this day. And
Hmm.
we can go through lists and lists of things, and people be like, wow, Black people invented it. And they're like, yes, yes,
From
yes.
country music to rock and roll to rhythm and
Mm-hmm.
blues, all of that. It's
Mm-hmm.
all coming from enslaved Africans and their experiences, their drum beat, their rhythms, their melodies, their harmonies as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Absolutely.
clap on twos and fours for a reason.
Exactly. Because there's rhythm.
Yes. Yes.
So we've passed the Crown Act. Yay. We have all this wonderful and positive representation. We have people that are embracing their culture. Yet we still see, and I see this, and every time I see it, I'm thinking, who are you? Where did they find you? You have sports players and entertainers and other people who will say, oh, I don't date Black women. I want white babies or I want lighter babies. Talk a little bit about how colorism plays into the politicization of hair.
Well, that's, yeah, it again, when you've been indoctrinated for as long as many folks in our country have been through, 400 years. 1619, we're at 2022 right now. That's a long time. That's a
Mm-hmm.
long time where you've been told that you're ugly. You've been
Yes.
told that your nose is too big, your hair is too kinky, your lips are too big, your behind is too big, and you've been like exploited. Some people are going to internalize that, and that's hard to get rid of. I can't be mad at people for their preferences. The only thing I do not like is the anti-blackness that's displayed.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you can date and love who you want to. That's none of my business. But
Mm-hmm.
what crosses the line is if you insult me for something I cannot control, like my blackness,
Mm-hmm.
like my physical features. That's something I cannot control unless you want me to go have a plastic surgeon, and I will refuse to do that. I love this. I love my Michael Jackson nose, and I love my lips, and I love how I'm shaped. So peace and blessings to them folk. I don't give them. They can touch grass. So that's it.
So there was a video of a young lady that I saw who was dark skinned, and she actually used a bleach concoction to
Hmm.
lighten her skin, and she did it over the course of several days, several weeks, and she was just lighter and was so happy with
Mm.
herself. And one of the things that she said, people see me. No one saw me before. People teased me. People said I was ugly. Now men are flocking to me saying, oh my goodness, you're so beautiful. I wish she had seen that or noticed that prior to that. I'm reading Caste by Isabel Wilkerson. It is an
Hmm.
amazing book. I encourage everyone to read it. It's called Caste, Caste. And in the book, Isabel Wilkerson outlines how America, in its racial hierarchy, we are a caste system that is equivalent to what we see in India.
Hmm.
And she talks about how if you are lighter, if your hair texture is closer to the dominant class, which in this country is considered white, then you are more accepted. We're still seeing that. We're still talking about that, which is why so many women were offended by what Chris Rock said. And Chris Rock had done a whole documentary called Good Hair.
Hmm.
They talked about women's how our beauty salon habits, how much money goes into this industry, how, as you said, it is a $1 billion industry, and how there is a whole culture around hair. Shanay, with all of that being said, how do we encourage young girls to wear their natural hair? Because I don't want to see another girl, as you said, who you can go to a plastic surgeon, you can get bleached, you can do all of these things, but God made you the way that He made you for a reason. Why not embrace it? How do we encourage our young women to be okay with their beauty?
Well, you mentioned the person earlier, young lady earlier, the woman earlier about
Mhm.
getting her skin bleach and everything. The first thing I would say is that person needs therapy,
Yes,
and I'm
yes.
not saying that in jest. I'm saying that internalized self hatred. I think, and even noticing like if you why you feel more people are paying attention to you. I think there's something deeper than
Mhm.
just bleaching their skin. Um, I I think it starts at home and encouraging our daughters to love themselves. One of the things I do, I'm not a perfect parent, but I do call my girls, and I have four girls from ages 25, excuse me, yes, four girls, 25, 22, 23, 23, and yeah, oh God, 23. and I tell them every day that they're beautiful because I mean
Yes.
it.
Hmm.
I encourage them to lean into, and people don't like saying it, lean into their beauty and accept it. I tell them every day since, they were itty bitty, that how beautiful they are and
Hmm.
how I just adore them. And their dad does the same with them. And we just uplift them as much as we possibly can because we know that they outside of, our doors, outside of our home, there's such pressure out there for them to look a certain way and to be a certain way. And I think that just reinstilling, positive affirmation with them is one thing. And also, like, one of the things that I've learned is racial socialization, teaching them at the young age that black is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Showing them pictures of women that look like them, leaders that look like them, you know, uh, people in their family. I'm big on genealogy, so they see like their ancestors, who look like them, who are just as beautiful as they are. They're dressed up, or they're going out someplace fancy, and they hear their stories from me or from their dad or from their great grandma who's with us. Thank you, Jesus, who's 98 years old. So
Amen.
hearing those stories and sharing, and letting them sharing, who they are and where they came from, and then just uplifting them constantly about how beautiful they are. One of the things I can say about my girls, they know they look good. They walk in it. They walk in their confidence when it comes to their looks. I thank God for all of that, and they'll let you know that they think they're pretty. They know they're pretty, and you can't tell them nothing.
Very
So
good.
yeah, so I would encourage parents of black girls to just reinforce how beautiful your children are. Let them see images of people that look like them, around your home. For me, growing up, you know, uh, I saw images of Esther Roll to Dorothy Dandridge to Billie Holiday to my own grandmothers. They
Mm-hmm.
come from, one of my grandmothers is a little bit lighter than me, and the other ones are darker than me. So I saw the range of beauty and blackness, and I didn't feel like I had to look a certain way or be a certain way growing up. You know, to be honest, I do have privilege in that I'm lighter than some of my relatives. So, I have to understand that they have to be reinforced as well, my darker skinned relatives as well, so they know that they're beautiful. I
Mm-hmm.
always uplift mine. For some reason, I feel more aware of my darker skinned family members than I do my lighter skinned. God bless my cousins and them. They all light skinned and whatever, whatever. But it's something about my darker skinned relatives because they're my grandmas. Those were the ones
Mm-hmm.
for me.
Mm-hmm.
Those ones were most influential for me that like keep me going.
Mm-hmm. And you're right, because the world tells us that if you're light skinned and have long hair, that you are beautiful. And
Hmm.
that if you're dark skinned, even if you have long hair, well, you have long hair, but you're dark skinned. You need to do something about that. And it's always
Hmm.
interesting. As you said, people will go and get tanned and try to get as dark as they can, bring on skin cancer, skin problems, skin blotches, all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, will tell you, I'm not black. I'm whatever I am. I just want to
Uh-huh.
have color to my skin. And I thought, okay, but why are you hating on the rest of us for something naturally that we have that you had to work hard for? I know the answer to the question. It's just interesting. But it just proves the point. It's not just hair. It is more than the roots in our head. It is skin deep. It is embedded in our culture. It's
Mhm.
embedded in our psyche.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And I say this as someone that has like black folks have like the gamut. We run from really light skin to really dark skin. My own dad, God bless him, was very very fair, and
Mm-hmm.
both his parents are dark skin, which is
Right.
something. And he had red hair and really light skin and freckles, like red freckles,
Mm-hmm.
and people thought that he was biracial. So it was something strange, but that's just blackness. That's how we
Mm-hmm.
roll and how we
Mm-hmm.
operate.
Mm-hmm.
And I have one of my children, that she's about my complexion, and the other one is dark skin. So, and it just ranges, and that's the beauty in blackness, that you really don't know until the child is born. And again, it's just reinforcing how beautiful black folks are, and everything we've overcome from 1619 on. It's just a reflection of how how a testimony of like the greatness within us, and we need to keep talking about that and bigging us up. And I'm saying that we need to hype ourselves up. We need to be our biggest hype men and hype women when it comes to how beautiful we are as people.
That is absolutely on point, and that is a great way to end our interview. Thank you, Shanay, for coming on all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada. Tell us how we can find you.
You can find me on Twitter, La Femme Negrita. I am always on. Well, supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be because I work, but I'm always on because I care about issues. You follow me when it comes to political issues, specifically in the state of Michigan, and social issues as well because I care about everybody.
Absolutely. So I want you to give a plug because you've got a big march coming up. Tell us about that march that's coming and how can we get involved?
Well, I'll say this. I'm gonna skedaddle a little bit and talk about one of the things I'm working on here in Michigan. Um, in June, we expect the United States Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. And
Mhm.
what that means is once that happens, there is a 1931 abortion law on the books that would prosecute doctors for administering abortion services, whether it's the pill or whether it is, the actual act of an abortion. And what that'll do is essentially outlaw abortion in the state of Michigan. I'm a part of a coalition called the Reproductive Freedom for All coalition. We are a multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-gender, multi-regional coalition of Michiganders coming together to make sure that reproductive rights are on the ballot. But it's not just about abortion services. This is about eliminating discrimination in providing medical care for people. It's about people making decisions for themselves, whether it comes to childbirth. It's also about prenatal and postnatal care as well. So we wanted to make sure it was all inclusive. Our coalition are people from all walks of life. Some folks who like me have faced racial discrimination when we were pregnant as well, and had and faced abuse from whomever. So we wanted to make an inclusive um, uh, a ballot amendment to the Michigan Constitution to protect people from politicians from making decisions about our bodies. So I just want to big that up. We've been working on the ground to get petition signatures. We need 425,000 signatures to appear on the ballot in November. So we're working hard and hopefully we'll get there and hopefully we'll win. So I just wanted to big that up, and it's so important. Even if you're against abortion, I think people should understand that you could be against something, but at the same time, the need is still out there. I am a person of faith. I can quote a scripture real quickly. I am a member of two churches and two denominations, and they're very religious, but we also understand that government and religion should be two separate entities from our Constitution. So we want to keep it that way as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Shanay, for coming on the Kim B. Davis Show and sharing with us and talking about the politicization of Black hair. Also, thank you for giving us that information on the ballot initiative. Tell us where we can find out more information about that ballot initiative.
Yes, it's mifreedom.org. So please join us. You can get on the website. You can sign up and volunteer. You can learn more about our organization and the work that we're doing in the community. So let me make sure I'm giving it. I think it's mireprofreedom.org, and I'm tired. So, but it's reproductive freedom for all. All you have to do is Google that, and it'll come up, and then you can sign up and join us. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you, Shanay, for being on the show. We appreciate you. We can't wait till you're on again with another exciting topic. Thank you guys for tuning in. You know that you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, LinkedIn, everywhere on social media, and it's Kimberly Batchelor Davis. That's BATCHELOR. You can you can see this show on youtube.com/Kimberly Batchelor Davis. You can hear this show on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, Clubhouse, and the new Wisdom app. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope to see you on our next episode. And as always, remember, be magnificent.